What's good, my fellow Magic Knights? It is your boy DEADMANVINCE back with yet another Black Clover mobile video. Hope everybody has been doing well. Hope everybody has been able to surpass their limits. Hope you guys have been enjoying all the content on the channel lately. Today, I'm actually going to be starting my revisiting of old character kits. Now, way long ago, I made kit predictions for how each one of the characters would work. Was trying to kind of get some similarities from the show and kind of translate it to the game as best as I could. This video is more so speculation than anything, and none of the things that I'm gonna say right here are confirmed to be true within the game. They're just kind of like my takes on how they could do these characters and how they could do them right, how they can make us feel that the character is from the show, give us that feeling like we are a Magic Knight, right? Or these Magic Knights in specifically, because that's what it's about, reliving the experience, recounting the tale. So each one of these videos, I have actually made dummy stats for these units, and I'm going to leave it up in the top corner whenever I'm talking about their respective unit during their video. It'll be there the whole time. Now, these stats are not necessarily literal stats that I think they would have, but more so just a symbolism of how their stats would look, right? I did explain kind of every point that I was pulling in the last video. I can link that video for you right about now if you want to check that out. But basically, let's just go ahead and hop in and work with the first character. We're going to start from ASTA. We're going to just work our way through all of the characters as they release them. But let's go ahead and get over to ASTA's page. So basically what I was thinking of with ASTA's stats is that he would have high HP because even though he has no magic, ASTA is highly durable. You know, ASTA is like one of the only characters in Black Clover that actually physically works out. Whereas everybody else just kind of like trains their magic and gets a bunch of reps in with their magic so that they can make sure they can use their magic efficiently. ASTA does not have that luxury. So ASTA has to be physically trained to be able to keep up with everybody else. Now, the reason why I think ASTA would have a lot of health is because, like I just said, he has a lot of durability. It is oftentimes that when ASTA is fighting an enemy, they start using magic on him, he'll deflect the magic or cut through the magic or just do something that they cannot perceive, right? They're just like, oh, wait, what is that? Then ASTA will run up. And the first thought in their mind is, oh, wait, he actually can fight. He actually has hands. Wait a minute, right? So ASTA's highly durable, highly tough. Now his attack, I put it so high, and you'll see there's a trend amongst, I kind of made ASTA first, and then I made all the other characters based off of ASTA because ASTA is the main character. That's typically how it goes. Everything kind of revolves around him. All the plans that they make later on in the story revolve around him because he has the final Deus Ex Machina. He has the final no button, right? He has the anti-magic. So everything kind of does circulate around ASTA. I made his attack 6,000. Now, like I said, do not worry too much about the specific number. This symbolism just shows that I believe ASTA will have no mana, but have high attack to kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Complement that. So even though he'll be lacking severely in the mana department, he should have a very high attack stat himself because that's what he's trained for. Then his defense will be high as well. That's just also kind of tacking on to his durability and the fact that he likes to, you know, just keep getting up and continually fight. Every single fight, he's never given up. Just always running back up on the enemy. You can knock him down as many times as you want to, but he will just continue to get up and continue to fight. He will continue to surpass his limits. So his health, his attack pretty much show that. His defense is pretty solid as well, or at least compared to the other characters when we see them, his defense will look pretty solid. So in my last video, I was talking about how units' rarities will look when they first drop into the game, and honestly at this point, it's really up in the air. We can't be too certain because there's ads of ASTA that say he's a rare. There's ads of ASTA that say he's an SR character. Definitely go check that video out again. Like I said, it's a pretty good video. We broke down a lot of stuff. But I genuinely believe that ASTA's base rarity could still be a rare unit. Simply due to the fact that at the beginning of the series, yes, ASTA did develop his anti-magic power in the first episode. Well, no. He had the sword in the first episode, and then he was like, nice, I have a sword, now I can fight. And then he joins the Black Bulls, and Magna tries to do his test of manhood, blah, blah, blah. And ASTA literally deflects the fire with his sword, and that's the kind of the point where everybody kind of realizes, like, oh, this man has anti-magic. This man's ridiculous, right? So even still at that point, though, ASTA was not the best fighter that they had. Definitely there were a lot of different people who could have cleared ASTA at the beginning of the series. If they was really fighting him with the intent to kill, Yami's for one. Yami could body ASTA regardless. Yami, just because he has physical strength out the ass anyway, he is one of those people who trained just like ASTA, like worked out. Even though his magic is nice, his magic is very slow though, so it kind of led him to that point. And that's how it is with Black Clover. Everything is very situational. So I can still see ASTA being a rare. No magic, he's a peasant. It just makes sense, right? Besides, he should be the easiest character to work on. Whereas everybody else has mana, you'll notice that when characters evolve, they actually either evolve from intense training of their spell or they evolve from what is it? They're in a specific situation that's like a life or death situation, and it requires them to grow at that very moment, surpass their limits right there, literally, and that's how they learn a new spell. For Asta, it's more so I can just work out some more and get stronger. I just need to practice my swordsmanship. Like, that's a very clear-cut thing. I feel like with magic, everybody has their own magic, so it's not really one person that you can go to. Unless you're, like, lucky in the case of, like, Leopold, right? He has an older brother and sister that both have fire magic that use it in different ways. But he still can go to them and ask them for help if he needs help, you know, mastering his magic. Even Magna went and asked Zora how to level up his magic, but that was conceptual. That took Magna all serious to even realize. Whereas Asta, all he really has to do is just work out as he always does. Just keep working out. Like, he went to the Heart Kingdom and worked out. Obviously, he trained his anti-magic. He had a lot more capabilities when he came back, but still, though, he trained hard. He came back literally if not 3 times the size. So, I mean, it makes sense. Asta can be a rare character, the lowest rarity character, but he can also be one of the easiest characters in the game to work on. Now, I put Asta as a human for obvious reasons. Asta is a human, as we know, for the entire duration of the series. I do have some odd speculation, though, that Asta could possibly be a devil for 2 specific reasons. One, there's no way his mom had sex with a mortal man, and he survived through that entire interaction. 3 reasons, actually. Second reason, we know that Asta's mom's magic absorbs the life essence from anybody around her. I'm pretty sure that's why she gave up Asta when he was born, because she probably sapped enough life magic, she probably sapped enough life force from him that he was near death, but she kind of just left that man before he fully died. But tell me this, what human child can, one, last that long in the arms of somebody absorbing their magic constantly? Like, it's a human baby. Like, it's not like look, Julius even said he's been storing magic over time, or storing time, or something like that. So that's just another kind of like homage to, like, over time your magic will build and grow, yes, but right at the conception of your life, you didn't die from somebody absorbing your magic consistently. Asta just can't be human. Third reason that I think Asta is possibly a demon, when him and Libe do double fusion, they have 4 horns. Libe only has 2 horns. Just think about that. Sorry to get, like, spoiler heavy, but I just remember at the beginning of 7 Deadly Sins, the first few seasons, people were actually just trying to figure out what Meliodas was, because nobody had known that he was a demon just yet. So, but when we got 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, it was automatic, like, his race was classified as a demon. They didn't hide it or anything like that, which makes 100% sense. So I just don't want anybody to be caught off guard if they decide to make Asta a human and a demon, or just a demon, or something like that for his races whenever he's in the game. I just kind of wanted people to be aware that it's a possibility. Tabata has been teasing it, I feel like, but not 100% certain. Obviously, Asta's affiliation is going to be the Black Bulls. Now, for affiliation, it used to be kind of like Magic Knight Squad, or that's how I would used to classify it, but now that I thought further about it, you have many groups that are outside of the Clover Kingdom that aren't just Magic Knight Squads. Look, you have the Ryus in 7, you have the Eye of the Midnight Sun, you have the Zagrata siblings, like the Devil Host, right? And yes, Spade Kingdom, but I mean, there was no real ranks to their organization. It was just the Zagrata siblings, right? So you have a bunch of different extra groups that kind of function independently that aren't a part of the Clover Kingdom, is the whole point that I'm trying to make. So that's why it seemed that affiliation would be a better thing instead of knighthood or kingdom. And I even have kingdom separated here in another classification, Clover Kingdom, because, you know, look at Fuegoleon. People think Fuegoleon is strong enough to be the next Wizard King, which honestly, the point that they're at in the story now, that's absolutely not true. But even still, though, he is a very strong Magic Knight captain. He's a very likable guy. He has the traits, but just for the enemies that they're fighting right now, I can't, just power alone, I can't give him that spot. Asta's the only person. Asta and Yuno are the only people who are at the level of Wizard King, because those are the only 2 people that Julius literally sees as a threat. He's like, we have to wipe these 2 specifically. But this man Asta is also a junior Magic Knight. I do feel like their ranks will play a major role, because I feel like Asta could maybe increase the stats of, like, junior Magic Knights or something like that. Just because everybody who meets Asta either feels one of 2 ways about him. They either feel, oh, this peasant is doing more than me, I'm offended, there's no way, I didn't ask him for help, blah blah blah. That kind of, like, big-headed, egotistical type of shit. Or that shit where you're on the Fuegoleon side, where you're just like, oh, you're fighting your hardest to become the Wizard King too, then I guess you're my rival, because you go hard, bro. Like, they're just 2 different type of people. But either way, Asta affects them both in a way that makes them want to get stronger. So I feel like his rank will definitely play a major role into it. Now, let's go ahead and go over to the skill video, or down to the skill video, I should say, and kind of talk about what Asta's skills could be. Alright guys, so it's been a little while since we've visited these animations. These are the first character animations that they released for Asta, obviously. He's the main character. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of go over how his skills will look. So, that first skill right there, I remember for the first skills that I hadn't really made any speculation on how the first skills would work, just because, you know, I didn't think they were going to have any extra effects. I thought they would just do some damage. But now I feel like they could possibly add extra effects onto these skills too. So, for Asta, skill number 1. Inflicts shave damage to enemy equal to 75% of attack to a single enemy. Shave damage would take away 5% of the enemy's remaining MP. So, you'll see that I tried to kind of like set this up as a Grand Cross type of how they word their skills, just to kind of give like a good idea, just to give people something familiar that they can relate with. So this would obviously do 75% of his attack stat. Now remember, I said that the attack is supposed to be more symbolic than exact. So Asta having the highest attack stat for all of the low tier characters in the game, or low rarity characters in the game, and then he's hitting that hard, gives him some value, especially just on his basic attack, I feel like. And it also gives him the capability to take away people's like mana, right? So I can see that every time he touches somebody in battle, they feel a little more drained, because, you know, eventually, literally, that's how it goes. People fight Asta, and, you know, over time, if he connects, look at Veto. If he keeps connecting over time, that man's magic will start to like mess up, right? Because he's just like, damn, I can't take the sapping of my magic so all this time. Or no, it was more so when Asta stabbed him, and he said he felt like his magic was just being sapped at a like constant rate. Then we can go ahead and head over to the second skill. So Asta's skills are actually like pretty like basic. The first one was a slash from the air. The second one is just going to be like a straight across horizontal slash, right? But that one right there, I believe could be an AoE. If I can get the boom, that one right there, cool. And it's a little weird because right after that first slash, it goes right into his third skill. So, but for this move right here, I said this move can inflict skewer damage equal to 200% of attack to a single enemy. Oh no. That's not the one I had for AoE, I'm sorry. Inflicts skewer damage equal to 200% of attack to a single enemy. Skewer equals 2 times crit damage increase, which I believe that's like spike. Is that spike or sever? But basically, that kind of skill, whereas crit damage would double, and he has and Asta would definitely have a high crit chance because he has anti-magic. Usually when Asta hits somebody, it does take quite the effect on them. And I'm trying to not make his numbers like too big, his percentages that he scales up on his attacks, just because he would have the highest attack stat in the game. So there's no need for him to be like that overwhelming. He's already going to be overwhelming, I feel like. And like I said, dummy stats, we don't know how stats are going to look. So these percents could change, but I feel like these are the type of skills that they would basically put onto Asta, just because he is the type of character where the only thing that you really could give him as an extra effect is like higher damage, because like he doesn't have any extra magic versatility to change that, you know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and move over to the third skill. So we have right here, right after this slash skill that Asta does, we have the third skill, right? Now, the reason why I think this skill would be an AoE is because, yes, he does the first 2 slashes, but then the area of effect on the crash on the ground that he does seems like it could hit all the enemies. And I'm thinking that it has an effect on it called lock. Now, what would lock be? Deals 150% of attack to all enemies, so it doesn't hit too hard. Well, it hits a decent amount because Asta has a very good attack stat. And then locks the enemy for 2 turns. Lock prohibits all magical abilities. So not just magical attacks, but magical like healing, buffing, debuffing, direct attacks, right? So this would be kind of reminiscent of what is his name? Slater. Red Slater from Grand Cross. I believe he's a rare character. He might be an SR. No, he's an SR. But he has a card that locks away every single type of skill except for basic attack skills. And this card can basically be that. Then let's go ahead and hop over to this man's ultimate. I'm gonna have to go to the next video. Now here, before we go into the animation for the ultimate, just wanted to say, this right here is the art from the ad that said that it was SR Asta. And Asta only seemed to have had one art for this entire thing, because once you get here, this art is the same. Whereas with the other characters, they started to change it from, it used to be this art first that was in black and white, and then it would change to a different art in the later videos. You'll see as we go down more of these like revisiting character videos, but they did start to change the anatomy of these videos themselves. But let's go ahead and look at the ultimate here. All right, cool. So, what is that? What does that skill look like to me? What does that skill tell me? Right? I think that the ultimate would be deals gash damage equal to 400% on a single enemy and shaves away 75% of the enemy's max MP gauge. Now, what is gash damage? Gash damage would be 3 times crit damage increase, right? And I know what you're thinking. 75% of the MP gauge gone? Yes. I want it to be just like that. You know, I want Asta to be busted, and which this is nice, right? Because Asta's kit is low-key kind of busted if you look at it, but it's not that busted, especially for the fact that he'll probably be a rare character, an SR character starting out at the most, and his stats are going to be lower than like most other unit stats. What do you do to give the main character that has low stats something to keep up? Extra effects that are very effective in battle. Shaving away enemy MP so that they can't use certain attacks is very good. Doing extra damage to them is very good. Sealing away magic abilities is very, very good. And all of it is balanced out by his stats. So I feel like that's the compromise that we're kind of making here with him having such versatility, not versatility, but such effectiveness on his skills. And then I guess I'll just run back the ultimate video and talk about his passives. I actually decided instead of running the video back to kind of just show off the website some more while I'm talking about the passives, because I can just kind of like put everything side by side by this man Asta right here and talk about his passives, right? But for his passives, I have it broken up into 2 passives, right? So the first passive would be called the 5th Clover, and this is hero reduces damage of mana-based attacks that they receive by 20%. So basically, if Asta gets hit by a mana-based ability, 20% off, because he can either deflect it or he can like cut through it, something like that, right? Or, yeah, no, I feel like it would be very busted to give him like a counter chance just built into his passives. So that's why I kind of went with the damage reduction as opposed to him being able to do damage when you damage him. Because then he'd just be a full out like God mode DPS starting out in the game. And shit would be, I feel like, relatively easy. Because I assume that most of the enemies that you face are going to be more so dependent on magic in the game, right? It's just an assumption that I'm making. But then we have for the second passive, right? Surpass your limits. Hero boosts the basic stats of any ally affiliated with the Black Bulls by 5%. Now, I'm trying to keep it to a point where characters do not affect other characters with their passive skills too much, just because that's usually later game stuff. And by other characters, I mean like by specific name, like a Dokkan, how it's like, oh, gets these certain effects when somebody with this specific name is on the guild. Like, not like a, oh, boost this category, because we already know there's going to be different classifications. They're going to do something with the different Magic Knight squads. They're gonna do something with the different like kingdoms, the different races. I could just feel it all, right? They're gonna do all of that. So I want it to be Asta is like the kind of like the main character in the game at first, to a point where he can boost other units, because that's what he does in the show. At the beginning of the series, Asta starts to surpass his limits, and then everybody else just kind of follows his lead, and then Yami can kind of pull the reins on everybody a little better, because everybody actually cares now. Everybody, it felt like, was looking at Yami like, oh, Yami, you're this great captain, and we worship you. But now it feels like Asta is the bridge between Yami and the guild mates, because now it's like Captain Yami's incredible, and Asta's working to be like Captain Yami. If Asta can work to be like Captain Yami, why could we not work to be great like Captain Yami as well? So that is my speculation for how Asta's kit will actually work. If you guys do enjoy videos like this, then please do let me know down below in the comment sections. You can leave a like, you can subscribe and hit the notification bell. We're going to be pumping out more of these videos for you. Next up is going to be definitely stay tuned for that. But I appreciate you guys coming out and watching the video. Make sure to surpass your limits, make sure to stay breezy, and make sure not to let anybody crack you under pressure. You guys have a good one. Peace.